Miss Darren Wood, that we are
Who do you
live.
believe?
I
Could it
believe.
be?
I think we're
I don't
live.
know if I believe you, though.
Well, shit. Maybe we're not then.
No, we're live.
Okay, cool.
Now that
Cool.
I said it, it's true. Yeah,
Cool.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. Good. 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 What's up, everybody?
Hi, hello.
Welcome. Hope everybody's doing well.
Welcome.
Excited to be here streaming
Feeling
with Miss Darren Wood
good?
again. There's
Feeling juiced up?
juiced up indeed. There's a lot of crazy news that happened today. Actually, I
Mhm.
found it to be a pretty cool day of just talking
Yeah,
about fun
nerd news
stuff.
coming back in full swing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was excited. I saw you in the evening stream popping into chat. I thought that was pretty chill.
I know,
It
I
was
was
fun
so excited. I finally got to like tune into one. Like I finished work early because I started early this morning, and I was like, "Hey guys, how's everyone doing?"
Heck to the yes, man. No, it's all good stuff. Lots of love on the channel and just in general this week. It's been a good vibe, and the Loki promotion has been real dope, Darren. I don't know if you've been seeing it, but the Loki promotion.
Yeah.
What did you think of that Eternals
Got some.
trailer? Also, I'm curious.
Oh yeah, I saw you've been talking about that a little bit. I liked it. I don't really know what everybody's gripe with it was. I felt like the color thing was a little nitpicky. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. I
Yeah.
mean, guys,
No,
come on.
you're right. You're right. You're
I,
right.
I just don't. To me personally, and maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I don't believe a movie that ethereal would have one color palette. You know what I'm saying? Like,
True.
there's so much shit, and they're all so different, and they're all doing completely different things. I think it's going to be a very dynamic looking movie in general. So when they're like, "Oh, the colors aren't bright enough," I'm like, "Okay, it's a trailer. They're trying
Yeah.
to make it look like one cohesive thing." But I thought it looked really cool. I thought it looked really great. It always gets me really excited. I feel like it is a star-studded, huge looking project. Although I am a little worried. I was watching your earlier streams when you were talking just about like the timeline of like how it's coming out in regards to how it was originally supposed to come out. So I
Yeah.
do hope that it gets the love it deserves, but I think it's going to be something really crazy and something really different, which I'm down for on that scale, because it really, maybe that's the issue, right? So with like WandaVision, we were like, oh, it's going to be something different, something a little crazy, but then it just wasn't on the scale that I wanted, and this looks like it's going to give me that.
Yeah, no,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, no, I do know what you're saying. Just to sort of touch on it, it is a little weird for me to think about how the film's coming out super close to Spider-Man 3, and like we're about to talk a whole bunch
Right.
about Spider-Man right after we talk about this shit, right? So it's just kind of weird that there's so much draw and hype around that, and it's unfortunate in a lot of ways that both Shang-Chi and this film didn't come out at the optimal time. You know what I mean? And they
Yeah.
could see some hurt for it. I will say this though, shocking to me that this trailer was viewed 77 million times in one day. That's got to be
Yeah.
very high on the list for Marvel trailer views. I think it beats Black Widow. I think it beats Shang-Chi. That's a ton of friggin' views, Darren.
Yeah, that's why it's like sometimes with like the negative response. I mean, like how negative is it really? I mean, I think people are nitpicking because that's all that's going on right now. But people are going to show up for that. I think people are really just excited to go back to the movies, back to see a big Marvel MCU blockbuster project. Like we're itching for it, and good thing it's coming out before Spider-Man, because when Spider-Man comes out, everyone's gonna be like, "Hey, fuck you, everything else." So we
for
need
sure.
some time. We need some padding in between the Spider-Man, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, guys.
Yeah.
Just hold your little tingly Spider-Man senses for just a little, and just let a few other people take front stage. Just a second.
I
Just
can
saying.
handle it for just a second. You're right. I can handle it for just a second. So now that we've passed that second, let's get into all the friggin' Spider-Man news of the day. Absolutely wild story breaks
Yes.
earlier about Quicksilver being Craven the Hunter. I find this to be absolutely fascinating. Aron Taylor Johnson is cast officially in a Craven movie for Sony that already has a release date, already has a director, and he's also signed
Yes.
for multiple projects. I mean, this is a lot almost out of nowhere. What's your just initial
It was a very
take?
confusing big announcement. It
Yeah.
felt like a big announcement. They're like, it's coming right now. It's gonna be huge. Multiple project guys, just wait. And it's like, I still feel like they won't even tell us that we're getting multiple Spider-Mans. And now they're like, on top of that, Spider-Man confusion. Here's more Spider-Man confusion. Also, you're getting Venom. Also, you're getting this. And you guys like, guys,
You're not wrong.
guys.
You're not wrong. And that's part of the
What?
reason people have trouble with Sony. They have trouble trusting because it does feel almost like a hodgepodgey thing. And, look, Kevin Feige's name isn't on this. Amy Pascal's name isn't on this. AV Arad's
Yeah.
name is on this. And people have, sort of trepidation and promise about that or, problems with that. But you're right. It does sort of add to that confusion. The main thing for me is like, are we going to see freaking Spider-Man in this? Because there's no Spider-Man and
I mean, that's
Venom
the real
and-
question, right? When are we going to see Spider-Man, and which Spider-Man are we going to see, and when will they just fucking tell us?
Yep.
For Pete's sake, when will just tell us which Spider-Man we're seeing? And honestly, at this point, I feel like with all the multiple Spider-Man news that's coming out, I don't even care anymore. I'm like, just give them all to me. Like, whatever works best,
Yeah.
Like, at this point, I feel like I'd be kind of down if they just abandoned all continuity and just did whatever works best for the project, like whatever makes it the most entertaining product, I'm down for. And if that means like a one-off Sony Spider-Man that happens to be one of the things that they introduce in the, multiverse Spider-Man shit where they bring back both Toby and Andrew. And if they decide to continue on with that and say that like this is happening in another universe and they want to do that, great. They want to put it in the Marvel universe and have him fight Tom Holland, great. I really don't think it's going to be that weird to like suspend our disbelief that Quicksilver is now
Sure.
what's his fuck Craven.
Yeah.
Because I mean it would be weird with like a big main character perhaps. With this one, it's like, fuck it. So it's like if they want to do that, do that. If they want to do this, do that. But I do think Spider-Man needs to be in it. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
like-
It's especially because if you think about some of the best Craven stories, they're super integral to Spider-Man. I mean, his whole thing
Yeah.
basically.
He's like obsessed with him.
He's obsessed with him. He wants to fight him. And at one point, I mean, there's the really cool Craven's Last Hunt where he needs to kill him to be able to die. Right, so like it's all this
Yeah.
like weird like prophecy
His
thing.
entire life force. It's like a-
He's like, and he's sick of
Yeah.
being alive. He like wants to die. It's really wild. So a lot of cool stuff that they can do that with that character, but it all is seemingly attached to Spider-Man. I mean, we assume Spider-Man is going to be going over in the Venom verse, and I think to your point, one of the reasons they might be holding all of that back is because they haven't announced shit about what Spider-Man's going where and how many of them are actually coming
Yeah.
back. I agree with you that I'm starting to get to a point, even with Marvel proper and the MCU proper, where some of the restrictions from canon are starting to flip and become not so positive things if we can't get all the fun stuff. I think with things like
Yeah.
What If and the multiverse, though, there's the opportunity to do, all kinds of fun, crazy canon things. So I still think that there's a lot of room to play there. But I think that if they're legitimately trying to create a Craven movie like they did with Venom, absent of Spider-Man, I would just discourage them from doing that. That would be massively ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of talking about that. Like, I originally thought Venom equals Spider-Man, but here we are.
True.
No Spider-Man, Venom coming again, and you know what? They're doing great. I think it'll be a little harder with Craven because his shit's a little stranger, a little more obscure, a little funkier of a storyline, which also I think kind of lends itself to our like suspicions. We're like, are they just choosing like more and more weirder characters so they don't necessarily have to go pay people or pay these writers for these storylines? But if
Right.
they're going to do if they already said they're going to do multiple projects with this guy, I would assume they would do like a long standing story like The Last Hunt that would involve Spider-Man. And I just think that if Sony tries to play like the continuity game, they're going to suffer. Like,
Yeah. Unless they have, because a lot of this, we've been talking about this for the past several weeks. There's confusion about what's going on with Sony and Marvel. But make no mistake about it, some kind of big deal is worked out. They just did that sort of pay one deal that's going to run through 2026. And then it's like immediately after that, we start getting all this news. So like, it seems like a lot of the shit was being held back for this particular thing. And I think that one of the reasons might be, what if it's Feige that's going to help at least craft in some ways what they'll be doing? Now, he's not attached to this film at all, but the establishment he might create in this next Spider-Man movie might well give all the routes and avenues that Sony would need to bring their Spider-Man back to do ridiculous things with their Spider, people and different characters. And in that sense, I'd still be more open to it. But frankly, too, I know that Feige wanted to do Craven, and so he's not doing Craven, and Sony is moving on Craven, and so that, again, something for Marvel fans to be like, I don't know, it's just feeling very Sony to me. But let's switch the conversation to this way. I want to ask you this. Yeah, go ahead. What was the point?
I mean, it does kind of seem like, I don't know. I'm happy with like standalone Sony Spider-Man projects. I don't need it all to tie into everything else, and I just really don't see now, like with everything that's come out and all the rumors and stuff, how that would tie into their plans for Spider-Man in the MCU. And so instead of disrupting that, I'd rather just see like a standalone Spider-Man Sony film.
Yeah,
that's totally separate with Craven.
Yeah, no, I
Spider-Man's at the same time. Fuck it, I don't care.
I mean, the thing is, like, I totally agree with you, but I think just from a business contractual standpoint, like Sony wants that MCU stank, right? So that's what it is. It all comes back to like they want that MCU stank. Well, here's the simple way to do it: is just bring back one of the Spider-Man from your previous franchises. Oh, and he happened to be in a movie with the MCU Spider-Man and MCU villains and whatnot. So, I mean, I think that's kind of the play on it. But I got to ask you, Darren, I got to shift it in to the boner talk,
what
okay? We got to talk boners. Yeah. That's right. We're talking boners.
It's the boner that won't quit.
It's the boner that won't quit. The little boner that could, you know what I mean?
The little boner.
The little boner that could. Look, when it comes, I know, right? You're going to need a minute, I know. So, look, here's my question. I saw people talk about this in the chat. I saw people talking about it in the chat. I'm gonna bring us home on this.
Okay.
If this dude is obviously not coming back to be Quicksilver, and they put Quicksilver in WandaVision, am I reading too far into it? Am I getting my boner hope up once again that this news with Craven could somehow, in the freaking crazy multiverse freaking evidence thing, mean that the boner is real and that Evan Peters is more than just a freaking troll and that he might come back as either actual Quicksilver or Mephisto? What do you think?
Yes, I think that the Aron Taylor Johnson news means that he is 100% for sure done being Quicksilver. Because if Sony and Marvel are already talking about doing projects together, it's like he's moved on, he's doing a new role, whatever, good for him. And if there's going to be any Quicksilver stuff in the future, it's going to be your dear old boner. So I guess you can get that boner up to like a quarter chub because that might be possible. It might be a hard impossibility, but
so it's, you heard it here, folks.
But
we're going back to Bonerville, USA. I believe in the boner still. I don't think Feige would shaft us like that. And I choose to believe.
How many can we do?
I know, right? How many? Can somebody get a boner pun and / joke count on this? Because it's got to be through the roof. So, do you have any last minute juicy thoughts on the sort of initial take and possibility of this happening? And one last thing I want to add to this. Apparently, this is a huge role for Sony, a super big deal. They approached huge names for this, apparently, including Adam Driver. Keanu Reeves was approached for this. So, for whatever reason, they ended up going with Aaron, and it's a huge get for him, and it just shows that it's going to be a very, very big role for their universe. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, good for him. It looks like he's going to pull an Oscar Isaac and Josh Brolin and just be in literally everything that he possibly can. I love to see it. He's just happy to be here. Whatever way he can kind of like crawl into any kind of superhero, sci-fi, fantasy universe, they'll take it, which is also like, what am I even talking about? There's so many people who've done that. How many can we list? Chris Evans.
True.
Michael B. Jordan.
True.
Ben Affleck. Ryan Reynolds. Tom Hardy. They've all done like multiple different projects where they played this like different characters in the same universe. And I think when they just get those down ass bitches, they want to hold on to them, because if they have someone who's really willing to commit, because it's by no means an easy commitment, especially if it's a multi-project thing. They want someone who's going to like live and breathe it. And if he's one of those guys who's going to live and breathe it, they would rather have him over some, hat chat. And good for him.
True. Good for him.
You stay in that universe. I support you. You're one of us now, bro. You can't leave.
Indeed. You can't leave.
You're in it now.
You've always been here, Mr. Tomlin. And that boner will never leave. Juicy stuff. No, I'm generally excited for what Sony will do. I think that a lot of people in our audience, Darren, like the Den of Nerds, they're not like we got a lot of Sony haters. You know what I mean? And I get it.
Yeah.
But I think that it can't all just be Marvel. I'm actually grateful that like we've got Sony's sort of outside influence because it's at the very least causing Feige and Marvel to be very creative in how
Sony
they
haters
solve
in what
some of these
way?
problems.
In the
Like they
in
don't
the way that they hold up things, or their actual products?
their products.
Like
Like
what
they
they
don't
produce.
like Venom. There's a lot of people that don't like Venom. There's a lot of people that don't want any like Sony to be doing any of these crazy other Sony Spider-Man projects, whether it be the Morbius film or the potential of like a Spider-Woman movie, or like there's always like a contingent within the Nerd Vengers. Wherever I bring this stuff up, they're like, it's Sony, bruh.
Yeah.
It's Sony, bruh.
I mean, I know. I gotta say, I mean, I kind of feel that. I don't trust them as much. Definitely not. Like, I didn't love the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. But
Yeah.
like, they definitely weren't my favorite. And Venom is okay. That was more just like a good time.
Yeah, fair.
You know, like didn't upset me, didn't really make me super happy, but it was just a good time. So I'm still cool with it. But like Into the Spider-Verse was great.
Dude,
I was obsessed with
yes.
that movie. I saw that movie so many times in theaters. Like
It's
I
so
fucking
good, dude.
love that movie. Like love that. Meh, meh.
Yeah.
So again, I get that. I don't really trust them because they're they keep pulling me in and then they break my heart and then they pull me in and then I'm kind of satisfied. So I just keep stringing me along, and I guess that's what it is. People don't want to keep being strung along and only getting tittled every
Yeah.
once in a while.
Yeah,
Titillated.
yeah. No, I mean, look, I feel it. I understand it. I just think that like Spider-Man to me is so cool and big. And as a comic book fan, there was always wild shit going on in Spider-Man comics that didn't seem to perfectly line up with Avengers stuff or what was going on in the larger Marvel world. Especially back in the day when Amazing Spider-Man was still going on, and just some of the runs that happened even within that run were absolutely incredible. So I like it. I want a lot of Peter Parker. I'm actually pumped about the Spider-Verse aspects that they might be doing. I actually hope Sony has the balls to run Spider-Man 4 with Tobey and bring Andrew back for more films moving forward. I would absolutely love it if they had two Spider-Man live-action franchises going on at once and then had them cross over in some wild-ass multiverse stuff like that. And even if it's like not nailing it the way that Marvel does, because I feel like Venom is either like a shitty Phase 1 movie in quality or like a 90s movie, a 90s comic book movie, but I still liked it. Like I didn't need it to
Yeah.
slap like Winter Soldier. It's like a
Yeah.
ridiculous buddy cop Venom thing, and I thought it was cool. The action was fun. I didn't take it too seriously. So Sony's like that elseworld place for me that I can just get into the
I totally
the fun,
feel
you know what
that.
I mean?
I actually totally feel that because like one of the reasons why I enjoy the Sony stuff is it feels very low stakes, right?
Yeah.
It's not like tied to anything else, right? Where it's like the Spider-Man in the MCU is like tied into a million different things and it's this whole legacy and continuity or whatever. But it's like they have the ability to just have those kind of fun one-off stories in Sony, and I like it. If it gets me more into the Spider-Verse kind of movies, then fuck yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Whatever, like. But it is because it's just so funny, when they have those big money franchises, they really they will beat that dead horse until it turns into soil that new dead horses can eat from.
Yeah,
Beating that
absolutely.
dead
That's the Sony way. I'm pretty sure they say that at the beginning of every board meeting, where they're like, "Are we canning the dead horse? Is it pulverized into dust, or can we
There's
beat it a little
still
bit more?"
some flex of this dead horse. Should we keep beating it? Is there
Yes.
anything left to beat?
Yeah,
I think it
that's-
has a cousin. Should we beat that horse too?
Let's find that horse. Let's find a horse that looks like this horse and beat the shit out of it. Beat it to death. That's pretty much the Sony way. No, I agree. And I find it to be fascinating. You want to talk about some of the other kind of nerdy stuff that's going on, and then we'll get into Q&A? Does that sound fair?
Always.
Cool. So
Duh.
there was a story today. We talked a little bit about the Zack Snyder, John, and his new movie for Netflix that was a Star Wars pitch. But I wanted to get your take on J.J. Abrams' comments. Okay, he came out and made some comments about the sequel trilogy, seemingly throwing shade at either Rian Johnson or Disney, depending on how you look at it. And I didn't know exactly what to make of it, but people said, Like a lot of people have been saying since we released that video, and since I've been looking at the comments, they say you should watch the interview with JJ, and it makes it look like he's like really squirmy, but also definitely trying to throw shade and kind of take away his responsibility maybe for what happened with the sequel trilogy. So I don't know, just overall, like what are your thoughts on his comments and just what he may or may not be trying to do?
Well, now I'm like kind of curious what that exact quote and context would be, because I definitely would love to hear that. But like, of course, I'm sure he feels like great shame.
Yeah.
Great shame for what he did with like the Star Wars franchise, and is trying to be like, hey, bro, I'm just a director.
Yeah.
Like, don't look at me. Like, it's not my bad, but it's so hard now because like I feel like a lot of the movie culture in today's world is like they get the director is it, right? They're like the one who's like spearheading the ship with the ideation, with the story, with the control, with their supervision. So it's like when a director puts out this thing, it's like their baby. And like he's like, bro, I'm old school. I just came in and made it pretty. Like, what do you want from me? Like,
no, I mean there's certainly an aspect of that in it, but I would say that particularly when it comes to Rise, there's two things that really irk me about it, okay? Number one is he's J.J. Abrams. At the time when they were making 7, this dude absolutely could have got the whole trilogy if he wanted. He absolutely could have got at least treatment and writing cred for the whole trilogy. He didn't want it, and to be completely honest with you, even though I love The Force Awakens, it is a super safe, like, take all this shit and run with it kind of movie, right? So in the one hand, it's like he just started it and totally went hands off, right? But on top of that, when he comes back, from what I understand, and I don't know it to be 100% fact, but from what I understand, he had almost total creative control. So these comments don't make a lot of sense.
Did he say why he like just like stepped in, stepped out, stepped back in? Did he like full blown say it, or was he like?
It's a couple of different things. Mostly, I think the company line on it is it has to do with Carrie passing and sort of, you know, Colin's script for 9 didn't work without Carrie, and they were having a lot of trouble with because Colin Trevorrow was originally supposed to do 9, and then when he gets, you know, kind of, you know, pushed out or leaves or whatever, creative differences. JJ, I think the company line was JJ's going to come back, complete the trilogy, and and the reason he's doing it, even though he didn't want to do it before, is because of, you know, Carrie passing and he wants to foster in the legs or whatever. I think the truth, though, is Disney panicked, gave him way too much fucking money, just like Warner Brothers did, and then we're like, save us, JJ, basically.
They just wanted to get like the JJ Abrams. They're like, you'll fix it, right? You got this, right? You'll do it. But it's just like it. I mean, I was so perturbed even when it first happened that they were like switching directors and then switching back. I was like, what is happening here? Why would you even sign on to do the movie if you didn't want to be involved from start to finish?
Yeah,
that's so insane to me. It's like the absolutely most insane, and kind of like the fact that he's trying to like throw shade now. I don't really know. It's like obviously
it's so crazy to me because he's talking about plans, right? And it's like, first of all, you came in and started the whole John with really no plans and just said, there you go. So you have no right to talk about plans. Then you come in on a thing that's 2 beats in, and you reverse all the fucking plans from The Last Jedi. Now, I'm glad that he did in a lot of ways because I didn't like The Last Jedi. But it's just such a weird thing to say, like, oh, well, you should have a plan. I've learned that it's much better to have a plan. And to be fair, yeah, the sequel trilogy didn't have a plan. But you were an executive producer on the first one. And you were J.J. Abrams walking in. I'm just saying, it feels a little...
No.
You know what I mean?
Well, The Force Awakens was such a weird experience, right? Because like when I first saw The Force Awakens, I was just like full on like Star Wars fan high. Like I just had total rose-colored glasses on. I was like, this shit is awesome. And I just like was not thinking whatsoever. And then like going back and watching it later, I was just like, I think in one of my YouTube videos, like, did I eat an entire handful of member berries? Like, what the fuck happened? I'm like watching this movie and I was like, this movie actually is like an exact copy. Like it's like a carbon copy of the earlier movies. But within that, it was all these weird mentions to very specific lore things that he was starting. and then just walked away from, and now is going to talk about plans, like fucking plans. Like, bro, it's like if you had those plans, then you should have at least said it, or at least like put a hard, like if you're JJ Abrams and you have that much clout, right? Like I can't believe that he wouldn't have some power over like where it went. Like if he really wanted to put his foot down and put his lore that he had originally established in the first movie in place, he could have done it. But think he had no idea what he was saying. Like I literally think he just threw it out there and was like, "Yeah, you guys, you figure that out. I'm just gonna call it the fucking, what did he call Kylo Ren's Warriors?"
Yeah, the Knights of Ren, the Knights of Michael Bay establishing shots on.
He's like, he's like throwing a few lines about like Knights of Ren, and people be like, "What are the Knights of Ren?" He's like, "No idea, but you guys will figure it out, right? Bye." Like, bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And the thing is, for me too, I think it feels and it plays for me like he realizes his nerd street cred is down. He's probably been watching as some of the announcements have been coming out about the development he's doing over at Warner Brothers, and people are not enthused. Like the Portal movie is developing. He must see the comments. He must see the social media impressions. Like, dude, his stock is low. His stock is crashed in a lot of people's eyes. And I legitimately think like Warner Brothers, just like Star Wars, like they're so out of touch. Like they just think like, oh, J.J. Abrams, 10 years ago, he was the hottest shit in Hollywood. You know what I mean? And they don't even think, they don't like realize like, nah, bro, like J.J. ain't that, And I can't help but think that even this interview, although it seemed, some people are saying like, no, it's a natural interview. He got caught off guard, and that could be true. But to me, it seems like it could even be a thing where he saw an opportunity to be like, I want to distance myself from the sequel
like it wasn't my fault.
Right.
Yeah. Like I'm still the J.J. Abrams you know and love. I'm the best, big blockbuster bro. You can catch me anytime my movies are sick. But it's just like the biggest stain on his career in recent years. Yeah, and he probably does just want to like pretend that it wasn't his fault and that there are bigger forces at play, which of course I'm sure there were. But you J.J. Abrams, bro.
Yeah. I mean,
like if you negotiate what the fucking salary he negotiated, you couldn't negotiate your vision.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Your story.
That's what I'm saying. This dude, I mean,
don't try to push it off on somebody else now.
Dude,
like,
God knows how much he made for episode 9. But let's just think about this. Let's assume he made like 40, 50 million, right? So he probably made like 40, 50 million pocket. Then his company signs a $500 million deal with Warner Brothers. He then goes on to make the lowest rated Star Wars movie ever. It's lower than Attack of the Clones. The Rotten Tomato score on it is lower than Attack of the Clones. So it's just crazy to me. Like that's fucking crazy to me. He's like he gets paid bank to play it safe and do a little retcon film that pretty much nobody really liked. I mean, I liked that movie initially, and now I think back to those videos and streams that I did, and I'm embarrassed because it's like, no, it's not good. It's
The Force Awakens ones?
No. The Rise of Skywalker. I initially liked Rise of Skywalker a lot, but now going back to it, yeah, I know. And the whole world, Darren, was like, you're crazy. It's a trash factory. And I'm like, no, it's not a trash factory. I like this aspect. I like that aspect. And the more I thought about it, the more I sat with it, I'm like, damn, this is a trash factory. You know what I mean? It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I could not have been more disappointed in that movie. Like if I tried, I was just so upset. Like I know The Last Jedi didn't go the way that they wanted and the story wasn't playing out in the way they wanted, but I just felt like there are so many other opportunities. Like if you're not going to continue on those threads, at least like not even settle them, but just like put them like push them off in a way that gives them an opportunity to do other Star Wars projects instead of just giving like the worst explanation ever for everything.
Yeah. And you know what? I saw somebody in the chat. I just want to comment on this. I saw somebody saying that it was like, no, that was Kathleen Kennedy's fault. That is absolutely not true. Every source I've ever talked to about this, like legitimate source, not like, butthole people that just make shit up. Every person I've actually talked to said, no, JJ had fucking carte blanche, bro. And he had some wild shit planned too that like even Disney was like, this is fucking crazy, but whatever, we're gonna let him do it. And then even he backed off of that. He made the safest, most JJ checklisty film he possibly could make. There was little to no interference. I'm telling you, I know that for a fact. So, put that.
And I mean, but
bed,
like,
man.
but also at the same time, you think of like context wise, right? Like if he's looking at the performance of The Force Awakens versus The Last Jedi, like everyone was like, Force Awakens, yay, Last Jedi, fuck. fuck you. And so he's like, oh, okay, so I'll just give them literally exactly what they want and do nothing outside of the norm and everyone will love it. So
Yeah.
he was just going off of like what the numbers and the
True.
people
True.
were telling him, I guess. But it was wrong because yeah, at the end of the day, there's no vision, there's no actual care for the actual product and the future of the universe itself. I mean, that's why the prequel trilogy is savable and like manageable, is because all the while it was George Lucas's story, his vision. It was like the Anakin Skywalker saga, right? And so it's like, regardless if it didn't get made the way it wanted to be, it was still a story that he specifically was trying to tell and could make up for with like the Clone Wars animated series. And it's like, that's not possible.
Yeah. Well, you know what else?
Sequel.
You know what else is wild about this? And I don't want to like go
Yeah.
too hard on this because people don't like it when I go too negative. But I'll say this. This is the last thing I'll say. They had a plan. They bought a plan. They bought George Lucas's treatments. The creator himself. Y'all bought his 7, 8, and 9. So it's ridiculous to bring up the fact that you have no plan. Disney bought it, bro. JJ, from what I heard, and I don't know for sure. Again, I don't know for sure. But what I heard, JJ and his ego was like, dude, there's no way I'm just going to direct George Lucas. You know what I mean? There's no way. You know, I need it to be.
Did he really?
You know, that's what I heard.
That will be the ultimate. That makes my blood boil.
Right?
That upsets me. Because, like, okay, we all know that George Lucas isn't the best director and writer in some sides of the way. But as far as ideation, world building, and conception, like, trust the dude. I mean, come on. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, what more proof do you need to trust the dude? But, like, I think a lot of it does have to comes down to the Disney of it all.
Yeah, that's
to be
true.
honest,
Yeah,
because I mean, I remember I was like talking about this. I did this like Mulan review on like my YouTube channel. One of my best friends, she works for Disney. Like, she doesn't like work for Disney like corporate, but she's like done with that at the park. Yeah. And she's just like, you know, she's like around a lot of Disney stuff, around a Disney people. And she's like, I think the illusion, right, is that like Disney is this super efficient company that has all of its shit together and all these things planned, but it's like a hot mess.
Yeah.
Like internally.
I believe
so
it.
if you think that like Disney has it figured out, like, and is like 10 steps ahead, they don't. They're like always just trying to get to like their next money thing because they're always like putting so much on the line. And unfortunately, when Disney bought Star Wars, they wanted this big thing. And so they just kept banking. They just wanted the parks to succeed.
Yeah.
I mean, straight up, they just wanted merch in the parks to succeed. So they did whatever they needed to do to like get people, you know, get new merch in the parks. And what we got was the fucking sequel trilogy, and it was trash. But it's like, if you had 7 through 9, then it's like, why don't you just do it?
Yeah, it's weird. It's just a weird situation. And, you know, the other aspect, of course, is that JJ just says one thing, like one interview years later, and it creates a whole thing. Because I think, and this is another thing that I think fans and Disney need to be just aware of and not like try to get upset about it. Just acknowledge it. We're living in still open wounds. You know what I mean? Like, it's not better. It's not. Like, I know that, like, in general, the vibe around Mando 2 was dope. Dave getting the promotion is great. There's a lot of things to be excited for. But, like, frankly, when something like this happens and it can still blow up and become this whole thing, these problems haven't been solved. From a PR perspective, there's just no actual progress that has been made between how people feel about this brand. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. For me, it's a little bit frustrating. Again, not to totally focus on it and belabor the point, but
it just kind of sucks as a Star Wars fan to get constantly just like shit on. Like, that's what it just feels like. It feels like I'm constantly getting like disrespected by like the Star Wars powers that be. And it sucks so much because it really does feel like they're just treating us like we're a bunch of fucking mindless idiots that will just buy whatever they put out. And the sad thing is, it's like we will, because like we care about it that much and we're that passionate about, I am wearing a Star Wars shirt today. This is my Star Wars Monolith shirt. But like we do, like, we care about it that much, and the love for it is kind of evergreen in that way, and they just abuse the shit out of that constantly, and it feels really gross when they're like, you stupid motherfuckers, like, you'll take whatever we give you. When there's so much that they could do with it, and there's so much that already has been done, like lore wise and expansion wise, that they just won't even touch because they would rather do what works best for their merchandising and their, parks and stuff. And it sucks. It sucks as a real fan of like the lore and the universe that they like always go this route, because it truly doesn't make any sense to me why they keep doing this when there's like they have like the world is their oyster, right? It's
Yeah.
like they don't have to do these canon sequel trilogy things. It's like the lore is so extensive, the world is already built out. All the legwork that could be done for a universe or a franchise is done and has been done for decades. All they need to do is create really solid projects and really good content for the fans, and they just refuse.
Yeah, and it's funny because you can see the gears have finally turned for them, because you can just see some of the changes they've made with whether it be the merchandise focus, going back on like old Republic characters and characters like
Yeah.
Boba, or even bringing Boba back, and all the stuff
Mhm.
that the reason that Mando works, I really think it evokes old school Star Wars vibes and that same kind of
Yeah.
love, and obviously it created, this is what's so interesting about The Mandalorian. It actually created the biggest commercial success within that IP since Darth Vader himself, and that's Baby Yoda. But Baby Yoda
Mhm.
was actually not created to be this merchandising thing. It was created to be a character that would draw on the heartstrings and bring in a human element to this sort of lone wolf and cub dynamic that John really
Yeah.
wanted to work with. So I think there's something to that, right? There's something to that magic that you can absolutely have. And I think within Star Wars, it's almost like it's blueprinted into the psyche of fans that there
Yeah.
will be this mass marketable thing and or character. You just got to make it. Honestly, it's a social contract. It just has to feel like you give a fuck about what you're doing and that you want to keep us engaged and give us good content. And then, yes, we will go out and buy way too much of your shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's, I think, what the social contract is. And in some ways, it feels like that contract is broken. But
I mean, my theory is that, like, did like a whole video on this. 'Cause I want to watch my Star Wars video about where I go all these deep dives into it. But
yes.
what they really are, what is hard to replicate for people that are just like now coming into Star Wars, right? Is that like if you didn't see Star Wars as a kid, it doesn't have the same like visceral emotional experience for you than as just coming into it as an adult, right? And so all these people have like generations of like emotional allegiance to this franchise that is so like ingrained in them that cannot be replicated, but that might be lost as these generations start to get older.
Yeah.
And so they want to replicate that same feeling for the younger generations to basically tie people in for an eternity. So they just keep trying to create like the new thing that'll just like hook people in. But I think what they need to just do now is make sure that like Star Wars stays a positive taste in everybody's mouth,
Yep.
right? Like, and just keeps doing good things, and that shit will come with the right. The better it does, the more people will want to get involved, and the more people will have good ideas. You make good stuff will come of it. And right now, they just keep trying to recreate the thing that like started the money in the first place, and it's just not the way to go. It's not what's going to get people back on,
Yep.
and they will lose those younger fans.
Yeah. Yeah. But there is hope out there. I don't want to be completely doomy and gloomy with everybody, but they do fuck up a lot, and it is one of those
Just
days
want
that you
more
have
Rogue One
another.
stuff.
Well, there's a new the Andor show, which is going to take place like before that, whatever, and they keep having set photos of that, and it seems pretty cool. And I've been enjoying Bad Batch. There's a lot of fun stuff that's on the way in Star Wars, but
I kind of want them to just like even just like walk away from like the whole Skywalker saga timeline in general.
yeah, they should. They should. They need to
Like-
just do something new and fresh, either way in the future or way in the past. I'd prefer way in the future, like
Yeah.
way past Rey, where you can maybe reference Rey or Rey's Jedi or whatever, but
Yeah.
make like several calamities happen between that present where the film takes place in the sequel trilogy, and just give us
Yeah.
a whole new kind of vibe for it. That's really what it needs, I think.
That's what I mean. I'm like, the world is so built out and the lore is already established. Just like have fun with it. Do something totally different, totally on its own. Stop trying to like tie everything back to that same Skywalker saga. Hello.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
make an individual project that just works. I mean, Rogue One, to this day is probably one of my favorite movies that's come out in the
It's
last 10
dope.
years.
It's dope. It's a dope
did.
flick, man, and it does a lot right. It does a
love
lot of adventure stuff, and just it has cool, mysterious characters. It's legit.
perfect.
Yeah, it is
perfect.
absolutely legit. Legit. I think that's pretty much all the kind of bigger news that came out. We'll just kind of get into the Q's and the A's. And ladies and gentlemen, we will be going over all of the super chats. If you have some super chat money, you want to throw it into the chat. All the super chats minus all the crazy, ridiculous fees that are out there in this crazy internet world do go to Miss Darren Wood. We
It's
say
my simp fun.
It's the simp fun. Simp, please simp, but simp.
Simp responsibly.
Yes. So we'll get into that.
Hey.
And then also, too, if you don't have any loot, we totes understand. We'll go over some chat questions as well.
Broke
So,
Vengers get love too.
indeed. Let's talk first here. Colt says, J.J. Abrams, why are you saying these things we already know? LOL. Also, where is Aunt May movie, Sony? Yeah. What do you think about that? Should they do an Aunt May movie? Would that be too much?
I mean, the Aunt May and Into the Spider-Verse was probably my favorite Aunt May. She was super fun.
She was awesome, dude. I love her intro,
I
too.
loved the Aunt May and Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, I think we kind of talked about it already. I think J.J. Abrams is just like trying to distance himself from the biggest stain on his career in the last couple of years. But it's just like, dude, shut up. Like, you should just like, that's how I just know you don't know what's up, because it's like, you're bringing this up again, you're just going to get shit on even harder. Like, just shut your mouth, make something cool. Like,
Yep.
you don't need to like try to like be like, it wasn't me, guys, shut up. Make something good, people will forgive you. But if you bring up the Star Wars shit again, guess what? The Star Wars fans are going to come for you.
Yep.
They're gonna come
I
for
agree.
you.
I agree. I think it's a pretty weird thing for him to say. And I will also say this to you, Colt. If they did do an Aunt May movie over at Sony, they'd try to do it without Spider-Man somehow. B. Grissom, welcome to the Nerd Ventures. You are a Nerd Venture now. Dr. Cool says for the $2 hauler, the brave little boner. That's fucking excellent. Steve
Brave Little
Padilla.
Toaster sequel.
I know. Steve Padilla says, Josh, if you were on a talk show in front of a live audience, you would get so much applause. You are very good at what you do. Keep being you, dude. Oh, thanks, man. That's very
Aw.
sweet.
I'll give you applause right now.
Thank you. I don't know why that would happen in a live audience. I don't know what he's saying. And by the way, if we would definitely get a lot of applause because we'd be clicking that applause sign on, you know?
Yeah. It would just be hitting our sound box, like a little soundboard. Just be
Exactly.
like,
Applause.
I
Ow,
love Lucy
bitches.
laughs.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, appreciate that. That's very kind. Thank you so much. Matthew K says, my problem with the sequels is that they aren't really sequels. They're basically a new story. Conversely, the prequels are a distinct extension of the original trilogy. That's fair. They aren't really sequels. They're basically a new story. I think that's fair because I think what he's saying is like Rey feels so out of place from everything else that comes before it that it's very hard to make it feel like it's an organic connection to those movies, which, by the way, I felt like they super duper fucked up when they started calling it the Skywalker Saga, which was never even a thing before, like 9 months before Rise of Skywalker, right? And then this whole idea of them wrapping up the Skywalker Saga and all this stuff, never should have said it. The sequel trilogy should just be its own little thing that happens way in the future and is just tangentially attached to these characters, and not even fucking really. So I agree.
Which I thought it was totally going to be. I totally agree with it. Look, that's what I thought it was going to be, you know, like the jumping off point to the new generation of Star Wars. And if it like tied into the old movies in some ways because she is the last Jedi or whatever the fuck, I was totally cool with that.
Right.
But then when they like made it like, oh my God, the Palpatine thing, I laughed out loud.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I laughed. I actually went, aha! No. I looked at my friend. I was like, no, really? Okay.
Well, plus, like, they do all this weird stuff with it after the fact, where they were like, actually, like in the novelization, they made it so it was a fucking clone of Palpatine that was failed. It wasn't actually his son or whatever. And then, like, they go further. I don't know. It's they just keep retconning. It's absolutely ridiculous. So. Yeah, I get.
Oh yeah, I have a Star Wars video called "Star Wars Problems with Nostalgia and Retcon" on my YouTube channel. You can check it out.
Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. And what would be the channel that they would check that out on?
Darren Wood, DarynWood. What? That's me. But no, yeah, it was just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, and also, I mean, even bringing back that stuff with them like not wanting to make it seem like she like needed a man, so taking the romance out of it, that was also like a big gripe with me. I was like super into their romance. I thought it was
Yeah, me
hot.
too. Me too.
I
Yeah.
wanted them to kiss so hard, and then like when they finally kissed and he died, I was like, "You fucking serious?"
Yeah, and it was like, yeah, that whole aspect of it was
So
treated
bad.
very poorly as well because it's set up I mean, that's one of the things that was most avoided from from The Last Jedi for him. You know what I mean? JJ was
Yeah,
like, let's just squirm around that one. You know what I mean? Like as much as humanly
I know.
possible. It's pretty crazy.
The
Felicity
whole Last
says,
Jedi too. I was like, I was like, yeah,
well,
fucking
no, I mean
kiss,
it felt like being
yes.
validated in some ways because that was a theory that I believed going
It's
into
hot.
Last Jedi. I was like, wow, this Reylo theory kind of makes sense. That would be wild for them to do, and then they totally just bailed on it.
Soup's hot.
Yeah. Felicity says
Still
JJ
never sad I
straight
never got
up.
my Stalo Raylo steamy scenes.
What did you say?
I'm still sad I never got my Raylo steamy scenes that I envisioned in my head before the last movie came out, and then
Did you
just
write a
got
fan
totally
fiction where
disappointed.
you
Just
put
got totally
those?
blue balled about it.
Did you
Yeah, just took all that blue ball energy, just put it in.
into a Rule 32 crazy ass? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You wouldn't be the only one. That's all I'll say. JJ straight up looked like John Cena held hostage on that video interview. He was really dancing around things. He needed this to come out because he needs the same pissed off fans to see his DC stuff. Wow, that's crazy. So Felicity again is commenting on the fact that he looked all squirmy and like he really, I don't know. That's interesting to me. And the implication is that he's maybe being told by Warner or some people over there or even his own PR people that he's like, bro, you better come out and
Like
distance
talk about
yourself.
it.
Yeah, like you better.
Um,
Yeah, and he doesn't want to throw people under the bus, but he knows it's probably the right thing to do.
that honestly would make me laugh if that was like a Warner Bros. Directive, because that would just be totally on brand with their boomer ass, unrelatable ideas of how the internet works. Be like, just talk about it, bro. You know, these kids these days, they love transparency and authenticity. If you just speak your truth, they'll respect you. And you guys are like, you have no idea
He's like,
how
dude, you don't
any
know
of
what
this
the
shit
fuck you're
works.
talking about. Yeah, that's crazy. I wonder if that's the case. I wonder if we'll ever find out. Felicity says, note to
Yeah.
JJ, all ladies know it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Good point, Felicity.
Boom.
Good point, and he don't know that. He don't
Yeah.
know that. Yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
Speaking of blue balls,
I know, right? I honestly was a JJ fan though, like legit going into Rise. Like like I said, I like Force Awakens. I like his Star Trek films, and you know what movie I love is
I mean, objectively has made good movies. He's a
he
great
has.
success.
Well, the Mission Impossible 3, dude, that movie's fucking incredible. So like he's
Yeah.
done some really cool stuff, but you tend after you think about it, you actually realize like he kind of is just good at sort of taking a narrative along and doing real cool cinematography stuff with it. He's
Yeah.
not really that creative. He's not really that good. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the vibe I
Yeah.
get the more I think about his body of work and some of his more recent stuff.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's like an early 2000s blockbuster hit, right?
Yeah.
And it's like when you go back and watch all those movies, they're all the same. You know, they're all the fucking same. They're
True.
like, yes, they were great at the time and they're still a good time to watch now, but they weren't doing anything crazy. They had a formula that worked and they just hit it
Yep.
every summer. Will Smith, where are you? It's your turn.
Where you at,
Get
Will
back
Smith?
in here.
Yeah,
every
because
summer.
you're right. He used to be that. He used to be that bitch with that. You know what I mean? Hit
They did it
every summer.
every year. How long did they do that Will Smith blockbuster thing for, like, years in a row? And
It
then they
was
just
huge,
did that
yeah.
same formula with every blockbuster movie until they ran out of that money, yo.
Yeah, pretty much. And also, like he had a couple misses as well and whatnot. But yeah,
Yeah.
they talk about beating the
Until
dead
streaming
horse, they ran
happened,
it.
honestly.
Yeah, you're probably right. Ash Eternal says my fan cast John Campia as Craven. What? John Campia as Craven? That's
Who's John Campia?
He's a YouTuber, and that is ridiculous because he does not look like Craven at all. I actually think Aaron. I saw some pictures of him. I'm not like super familiar with his stuff, really, beyond what he did with Quicksilver. But dude is big. You know what I mean? He is physical. He could get even larger for the role, and he's got
Yeah.
like wild ass hair and stuff too. I actually think he could be a great Craven.
I mean, they can just do that Tom Hardy lens, right? Just get down here, and they're just like, "You're huge."
Right.
Do that
True,
whole
true.
Tom Cruise Tom Hardy thing, and they just feel like lulls. Like Christian Bale is 6'2", and Tom Hardy's like 5'7", and they like figured
made
out a
it
way to
work.
pretend that was a thing.
Yeah, they tried. They made it work. By the
Yeah.
way, did you hear there was some new comments about how Zach at the beginning of Man of Steel, there was a lot of talk about attaching that to Christopher Nolan's series and actually potentially even bringing back Christian Bale and having it connect to Christian Bale stuff. That would have been kind of interesting to see.
Wait,
So Man of
sorry, hold
Steel,
on.
yeah,
You
Man
said
of
so
Steel.
many Chris's in one sentence that I was like, Chris Evans, Chris Pine.
Yeah, all the Chris's were actually going to join up for.
One of the most hilarious SNL openings. I'm not that Chris. Did you ever see that?
No, I don't think I did.
Chris Pine did that opening song with it was like Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, and Chris Pratt, and he sang this song called "I'm Not That Chris." I may have blonde hair and blue eyes, and I'm in that movie, but I'm not that Chris.
Damn, no, I haven't seen it. No, that's I'd have to check that out. I don't really should watch a ton of the SN and the L's, but I do like to catch it when like actors that I like are on there.
Anyways, about those Chris's. What? So Man of Steel.
So they were originally there was talks to connect the Dark Knight trilogy, so Christopher Nolan's Batman's, to the Man of Steel universe. So like Henry Cavill Superman and even Christian Bale Batman might have been hanging out originally. Like man, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know about that. Only because every time, I mean, I know we have our gripes and our disagreements about Zack Snyder, but I do feel like Zack Snyder's Man of Steel kind of felt like a weird Superman like art house project.
True, double true.
So to just like, but then also so was like Christopher Nolan's Batman's movie. So, but it's
Yeah.
but then it's like two different art house projects like that aren't the same. Trying to like touch.
You know,
touch
my
tips, like,
to be
I don't know
honest,
about that.
like my thing with Man of Steel was I love that movie, but I always treated it as an Elseworld. It felt like
Yeah.
a Elseworld sort of deconstruction of Superman that also still like brings back his mythic status, and I was like, this is dope. But I don't think
Yeah.
for a second it was intended to be the total opening of this large, incredible cinematic universe.
Yeah.
I think it was
Zack
probably
Snyder should just stay with his little projects.
Well, I absolutely think he can do epic, and I would have loved to see his. I know we have disagreements about Zach. You know, I'm the biggest Zach fanboy on the planet, and you're a hater, a mother flipping hater.
Sad about it.
But I think he can do epic, but damn, does he make long movies? So a Zack Snyder epic series of movies would end up being like 20 to 30 hours. Like it would, you know what I mean? It would be pretty long.
That's what I mean. It's like even when that news came out about him doing that Star Wars show, I was like, yeah, good for him. He should just always do his little one-off projects that are super weird and him doing his thing, trying to say some shit, make some weird statement. But as a whole universe,
No, you wrong.
Yeah.
It will be great, and you will love it. His new universe of whatever he's creating, it'll be the one to win
Maybe
you
I
over.
will.
It'll be the one. To win you
Yeah,
over.
sure. The next one for sure.
The next
one for sure.
The next one's for sure. But you know, it's not how you start or do a bunch of movies. It's how you finish. Ash Eternal says John hunting down Grace Randolph, Campia's last hunt. Wow, it's pretty funny. If you know, they had beef back in the day.
niche.
Yeah, super niche. Willem Warrington says, angel emoji that Josh liking X-Men God Love Man Kills. Yeah, we were talking about it a little bit before we went on.
He literally told me.
I'm pumped. I like it.
Right before
so
we went
far.
up.
But it is weird and brutal.
I've now added it to my post-it of things to my homework post-it.
Yes, and we we both just been super busy. And you were in Jamaica. You were in Jamaica doing Jamaica things.
I was in Jamaica.
Doing Jamaica things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nathan Tattoo says, hey guys, been MIA. Sorry. Glad to hear about Snyder sci-fi project, but missed the Craven news, I think is what he said. It says leaving news, but I think he said Craven. Keep nerd venging my nerds. So we'll Craven, he said. So we'll sort of talk about that again. So just to clarify, the Dealy Dally is, and this was broke by The Wrap, so it's a Hollywood trade, very reputable, highly, highly believable. And most people that I've seen talking about it are just like, no, yeah, it's totally real, and I can finally talk about it, basically. So it is a movie coming out in 2023. It already has a date. It already has a director. And Aron Taylor Johnson, who had previously played Quicksilver in the MCU, is starring as Craven and apparently has signed a multi-picture deal with Sony. And there's just a lot
Mhm.
to that, and we've been talking about it all stream. So just rewind
Yeah,
and go
you
back to some
missed
of that
it.
juice. Yeah.
You missed it.
I actually did clip out part of what we talked about at the beginning, so I'll be posting that on
Just kidding. He
the
clipped
channel.
it. You'll see.
Yeah, I'll put it out on the main channel, and you'll see it when you watch it on the main channel tomorrow, Nathan and everyone else. And watch it twice, and make your grandma watch it as well.
All right.
And let's see what's going on here in this chat, man. Let's see what these people
In
are
this
saying.
chat.
Yeah, let's see what these people are saying in here. Doesn't Josh's glasses look like clearer Spider-Man goggle eyes? What you saying, Ming? What you mean, Ming? What's he trying to say?
I mean, I think he's trying to say that you look good. Take it as a compliment.
Okay, cool.
Glasses are looking clear, eyes looking fresh.
Cool. Cool. Thanks. I appreciate that.
I mean, your
man.
lighting is looking nice right now. And
Thank
you're wearing
you.
a red shirt and the lighting isn't red. Look at you.
Yeah, no, we're kind of figuring it out. I switched
Did
this
it.
bulb so that it was white rather than orange and gross and terrible. The only thing I'm running into now is that we have the full green screen over here, and it's putting green light into some of the background, and it's a little bit weird, but we'll figure it out. Let's see here. Yes, compliment, like Darren said. Yes, that one for sure. Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks. Let's see here. Lavis totally agrees with me on Snyder. Well, that's good. That's good. I think everybody should agree with me on Snyder, including
Yeah, you
Darren, but-
DC boys and your Snyder verses and your Snyder cuts and
He's so Snydery, don't you know? Don't you know? Yeah, I
can't get on that train.
Yeah, and honestly, there were a lot of people in we did that chat, the evening stream with Al Schuler, and a lot of people were on the same boat in there, where they were giving me crap about it. They were like, "Oh, he's simping so hard. He's simping so hard for freaking Zach." And look, I get it. I know it's true. It's true. But
so you're in the simp legion for Zack Snyder. So are you the simper over there?
Yeah, no, I simp for. There's a couple of people that I simp for. Kevin Feige, number one, number one simp for Feige.
Number one simp.
Dave Filoni. I'm a huge Dave Filoni simp for Dave Filoni.
Okay, yeah.
And then
I'll let my little
Zack
simp flag
Snyder.
for that.
That's my trifecta of the homies that I be simping for. Faux show.
Although you guys talking about my God, what's the lady movie? Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be curious to see another cut of that because I remember one of the things I said specifically when that movie ended, and I don't know why I remember that. This is like clear as day, but we're sitting in the movies, like, and the movie ended, and we're like, that was weird, but not bad, but like not right,
The
but
editing is
almost
whack.
there, but weird. Like we were just like, I think I like was supposed to like that movie and couldn't.
There was some parts of it that were weak.
We were very
you know?
confused. And like it was just an overall weird experience, but it could have been super fun. I mean, I want to see some ladies with their skirts blowing up, kicking people in the face. Like, come on.
Yeah,
bro,
it
who
was
doesn't?
like a bunch of hot chicks stuck in an insane asylum that were having a anime wet dream, basically, and it was dope, dude. Like,
who doesn't want to see it?
Who doesn't want to see that shit? It was dope, and some of the action sequences were ridiculous. I was like, this is freaking amazing. But then there's stuff in the hospital.
Hot chicks doing crazy stuff. No, come on. We're all down. We're all down.
Yeah.
We'd all pretend we're above it, but we'd all be like,
yeah, we'd all be like, what are they doing? Whoa. And then like the violence too. It's like, oh shit! Like what movie is that where he's like, I like how they do the violence and the sexual stuff. There's like some fucking movie where like the dude's like talking about it like a child, and I can totally relate because it's the way I am.
soundtrack slaps.
Soundtrack slaps, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see here. Nathan Tattoo says that's flippin' epic. Haha. Thanks for the recap. Simpin' ain't easy, Darren. Amen, brother.
Amen. Simp slap.
Bones it. Wait, what was the simp slap on your end? I missed it. Oh,
I just simp slapped him.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Is that how I keep the simps in line?
Oh, I see. Oh, shit. Damn, I didn't know it was like that. Damn, it ain't easy. Keeping them in line.
Just kidding. No. Oh, no, girl. It's not like that. Come on.
The girl's not like that. Or is she? There's like all these conversations going on in the chat. I love
I know.
I love it. But
that aren't about us at all.
yeah, I know.
Like,
And so it's like I'm trying to
hey,
like find in some like Q&A. Everybody's like having their own conversations. They're like, well, I think simping should be, you know what I mean?
all
Or
right,
whatever.
guys, stop talking about us, or we're gonna have to go. Okay?
Yeah, if you guys don't focus on us,
Yep, I'm
you're gonna
talking
get
about
simp
us.
slapped
This is about
like
us
you.
right now.
Yeah, that's what's happening right now. It's getting
Everyone's
weird.
like, "How's your kid?"
It's getting weird. Bradley says,
Well,
"Sorry, I'm late." Hey,
Osvaldo says, "I would let Darren slap me."
who said that? Who said it?
Osvaldo Vargas.
Waldo Vargas? Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Maybe
Oh,
someday we're at a
different slap.
convention. Okay.
That's the meetup. Just me
That's the
slapping
meetup.
people. Oh, God.
Slapping
Okay.
people. Yeah. Well, we'll sell tickets. Sell tickets. Cut you in real nice.
We only talk about you behind your backs, Lavis. How dare you take that back right now?
Holy shit.
You take that back right now.
You take that
Lavis.
back right now. You take
Unless
that
you're
back.
saying nice stuff, then like keep talking.
I know, right? Jeez. Let's see here. Broke Venture question here. Did you go to the foundation, i.e. Bob Marley's home? Hey, yeah, did you go to the foundation, Bob Marley's home, while you were in Jamaica?
I did not. There was a lot of COVID restrictions in Jamaica, so there's like there was curfews, so there
Yeah.
are sometimes where we just like literally couldn't leave the hotel. It was good. Still a good
Yeah,
time.
that's that it is what it is. But
Yeah.
I've never been to Jamaica. I'd like to check that out. And Bob Marley, I would definitely have a lot of admiration and respect.
It's
for
so
Bob
easy
Marley.
for you on the East Coast. You just have to whoop, just right down there.
How fast?
Yeah.
How long? How fast? Like an hour?
It's like 3 hours from New York, 1 hour from Miami.
What? How did I not
Yeah.
know that? Damn. Okay. Well, if I
Just
ever
saying out here,
can pull
living
myself
your
away
life in
from
these
work,
streets.
you know, it'd be fun to do like a 420 Den of Nerds stream from Jamaica. Like just go live from Jamaica. That would be crazy.
You know what? I will host it and take care of you guys because I don't smoke weed. So I'll be the only responsible one there, being like, coming to you live, Den of Nerds in Jamaica. And everyone's just like,
Yeah. I know, right? We'll be like, fucking Marvel and shit. It's fucking whatever. What do you think, Darren?
someone asked me what I'd want to cosplay as. And my next one that I wanted to do for this year's San Diego Comic Con that got canceled was I wanted to be Magneto.
Yo, that'd be sick.
I
That's
like a good gender bending one.
Sick. No, yeah, I want
Or
to
like
see
a
it.
hot gender
I
bender.
want to see it. Do it. Do it anyway. And just friggin' put it up or something. Let's see here. People be saying, let's see what the peeps be saying. Josh doesn't read chat when he's talking. Case in point,
What do you think we're
I do.
literally doing it now?
No, I think he's got a point though. When I get in,
I did do Psylocke Lavis a long time ago, but I need to revamp it a bit better because I was like 17 or 18 when I did that one.
Dude,
So,
there's a comic book. There's 2 comics out on the table that I can't wait to read. Been waiting all day to get into them. But one of them is the new event, Heroes Reborn. There's an X-Men spin-off where basically this is like an alternate version where the Avengers never formed or whatever. And so it's Magneto and the Mutant Force instead of the X-Men. And yo, I can't wait to see what kind of craziness they have in store for that. Pretty dope.
I love my little my little homework post-it of all the fun stuff I get to read.
Yeah, man.
When
No,
I
Heroes
got-
Reborn is dope. It's only 4 issues in right now, and it is a fantastic event. I am really, really enjoying it. Having a good time with it. Having a good time with it.
Felicity's like, verify the age first for the Psylocke costume. I was in college. Okay, so I was at least 18 or 19. Now that I think about it, it was my freshman year of college, sophomore year of college. So I was of age.
Yeah, Felicity. Jeez, what are you freaking gonna do anyway?
I was an adult
Yeah, I was an adult.
in my slutty Psylocke costume. All right, I was an adult slut.
Yes, jeez. We don't condone the other version of that if it is such a thing. Let's see here. Why do you think the Eternals haven't been helping out? You know, this is a great question by Devin. I want to know what you think about this. We've talked about it. Different members of the team have different takes.
Yeah.
Why the fact? What did the Eternals not stop
I am
Thanos?
I'm so curious to see how they put this into play. Also, someone said Darren should cosplay as Wanda. I have already on my Patreon. Check it out. But yeah, this whole like we don't interfere, we just observe until now, but then it's coming out after Endgame. Like if it's not retroactively happening in Endgame and like what the movie is you're seeing their like machinations that help them achieve success in the Infinity War trials and tribulations. I just yeah. I am so curious to see how they're going to explain away that they were just like, not this one though.
Yeah,
Not this one
I
though.
I have a
No
couple of
interfere,
theories.
but sometimes.
I hope it. I mean, I hope it's like well thought out. I mean, you got to expect with Feige, he has at least an explanation, and it'll probably
Yeah.
be pretty decent. Some of my theories have to do with potential spoilers and things that were going on, but I think generally speaking, the trailer it doesn't bother me as much as somehow it's been. I think the memes are hilarious, but it doesn't personally bother me as much as it's bothering other people because it kind of says it in the trailer. They literally just say they haven't interfered until now. Their mandate is to not really interfere. So even while Thanos was there, and by the way, it's not like he was there for a long time. He comes to Earth. They essentially try to steal the stones. I don't know what that would have seemed like. Of course, the ships are there and people are talking about it. The Eternals probably would have recognized it, but they don't interfere because they're
Yeah.
like, yo, it is what it is, whatever. And then when he comes back to Earth and assaults Wakanda and gets all of the stones, that's like a couple
Yeah.
of hours. So it's not like it was this long, drawn out thing that the Eternals had to,
Fair.
like we're not engaging for days or weeks or whatever.
Yeah, but
No,
then it's like unless they're all wiped out in that 5 year period, when everyone like every single Eternal got wiped out, and so
oh
that's why they
yeah,
couldn't
for the blip
interfere.
or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah. But then other than that, I mean, because what they're saying, we have not interfered until now. What's the until now event?
yeah. It's gonna be a deviant
If
or
it ain't
something.
if it ain't the blip, yeah, I guess it could be the deviants.
That's the way
But
I
then
think of
like
it. It's like it'll probably
but
just
then
be.
it's kind of like I don't know if I'm gonna really love that storyline if like the we haven't interfered now and they're like is another just like big baddie happening at the same time as Thanos. So they're like secretly fighting deviants while Thanos is happening. Like I
Yeah.
don't
Well, there's a couple of different
know
aspects. I
if I
like
want
this.
that.
John's on his takes here says, "I'm telling you, they were mad at humans, J.K. But if they go that route, I mean, it could be that they were mad at humans, or perhaps one of them, like for instance, Ajax. It's possible that
Mhm.
Ajax has been keeping stuff from them. You know what I mean? Or I think in that game and run that you're getting into
Yeah.
currently, don't they? They all don't even know they're Eternals or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
they all have like no memory. So they could do that as well, which is like another aspect of it. So there is the possibility that they could also just have no memory or know
Of
what's
being,
going
they
on
just think
because
they're normal.
until
Yeah.
until the celestial gets activated, no, until one of them activates the celestial and the other one activates them, they all have no idea that they're Eternals, and so they're just
Yeah.
like living a normal
No,
life.
and I think
So
that
that could
might
be that, and some of them are dead.
right. Well, that might be the
Like
case
a
where
lot of
it's
them are
like
dead. Yeah,
maybe it's like Ajax is she's the one that is the watcher on the wall, so to speak, where she's like, okay, I'm
yeah,
watching the threats. I can activate the Eternals if I wanted to at any time, but I'm not going to unless or something like that. So it could be something like
yeah.
that. There's multiple ways that they could do
So
it.
she's the big butthole. She's the
She
big
might be a
butthole.
big butthole.
Keeping them from saving everybody. Now that makes way more sense that they just had like no memory. I don't know why I didn't think about it. I'm literally reading that book right now.
Wait a minute. What does Fanjexer saying some bullcrap right here? What is this bullcrap? Just a friendly reminder that you lost our bet with Rangers being canceled. You owe me a Princess Leia cosplay. Darren can help you out on that. What the hell are you
Happening?
referring to? What do you mean? They didn't cancel it? What's going on here? What is going on here? What is.
You lost a bet. Now you have to dress up as Princess Leia. Which one? Slave Leia
Yeah,
or
I
Modest
guess.
Leia?
I mean, obviously Slave Leia, but let's just see what the heck this guy's talking about. Link me an article or something. You crazy, you crazy fanjecture dude. Let's see here. What's he talking about? He just sent me on a. He was probably just trolling me. He sent me on a wild goose chase for this now. Dang. Thanks a lot, Adam. Freaking butthole. Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyway, uh, And then
All right.
Takar says, simping for Darren, always, how do we get Hank
Thank you.
McCoy in the MCU? Is Wanda going to break open the multiverse portal for the mutants? What do you think of that, Miss Darren Wood?
Um, yeah, I mean, we've had our multiple theories about how the mutants are finally going to get involved and brought into the MCU. I do think what the multiverse is probably the best way. Some weird shit maybe with Thanos that like activates mutants in some latent way or activates the X gene in some kind of way to bring them in. But unless they're brought in as a team from a multiverse situation, I think they're gonna have to like start from the beginning, like first mutants, late next gene getting activated, and they all start popping up everywhere, kind of like when the X-Men comics first started.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's going to be something like that. There could even be an explanation. I know this has been heavily speculated by fans that the mutant gene has been around and there have been periodically mutants, but it's not
Yeah,
until the end game slash maybe Wanda slash maybe some other event that causes an acceleration
yeah,
of the mutation. So yeah,
yeah.
that could make total sense and be very very fun. Adam is I
Yeah,
think
someone says the Eternals movies maybe creates mutants.
I would love that. I mean, I think that's a little weird because they would sort of be like, all right, who gives a fuck about the Eternals then? You know what I mean? Everybody would just be focused on the
Yeah.
mutants. But
Well,
also,
they are some of them have changing powers.
yeah,
Cersei has changing powers. Duh.
true. That could be the case. I think one thing that people speculated about was if they've been around for 7,000 years or whatever, then they technically would have known about Apocalypse when he was around in Egypt. So, especially if they
That's true.
happen to be around that time, they would have known at least about
Yeah.
him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be really hard. I don't know. Yeah, it's like they're either gonna have to bring him as a team from another universe or start from like the beginning. Well, uh, hmm. Well, no, okay. If they had their policy to not interfere, and then they also like forgot then who they were, then maybe they can forget Apocalypse because that was the whole thing with Apocalypse, right? Because like he was like the first mutant when there were like really no other mutants around, and so like because he was the only one, people kind of forgot about him and thought he was just like a legend and a
Yeah.
god. So that could still work.
Totes. No, yeah, that could be the way. That could be the way. We've got a couple fun ones. We'll just kick it for like 15, 20 more minutes. Well, let's see here. Steve says, "Please bring back your gaming channel." I mean, we're working on it, Steve. You know, I mean, we got a lot on our plate, but I am trying to get back into the gaming stuff for sure. There's this new game out. Shit, forget what it's called, but you basically make like a little raccoon avatar, and it's like a Ratchet and Clank meets Breath of the Wild game, and it looks so fun. I wish I had time to get in and be playing them games because that does seem really really fun. So I saw that Adam's referring to a stream from a long time ago where maybe he said with Gina gone that show's going to get canceled, and maybe I said I don't think so. So maybe that's what he's saying too. And I'll say this: you better find that clip, Adam, because I don't believe you. So until I see it, I'm not going to start.
Ranger show?
Yeah. So there's a Star Wars show called Rangers of the New Republic. It was talked about at Disney's investor call on December 10th of last year, and recently a Hollywood Trade reported that it has been shelved and or put on hold indefinitely. It's taken out of active production. A lot of people speculate that it's because Gina Carano was going to be the either the star or the
Oh,
co-star.
yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, apparently she gone, and it is what it is.
Not the case. As I think they're going to bring in bring in the Deadpool mutants. I really think they should leave Deadpool on his own.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think he's a good bridge for mutants. He shouldn't be a way to segue in mutants. I get that people love him, people think that he's awesome and popular, and I do want him to be revealed to be a mutant, which he was, of course, in his series. But it would be dope. It would be dope to get that, but I don't need him to be some kind of bridge or some kind of like anchor point for the muties.
Unless it's like a brief cameo, I really think the Deadpool should stay his own thing.
Yeah.
His own movies. I don't want it to bridge over into anybody. It's too stylized. It's too specific to his own kind of narrative and own kind of jokes and humor. I just don't think.
Yeah.
It works.
I'm with it. I'm not the biggest fan of Deadpool. The shotgun joke a minute thing isn't the best. Isn't the best thing. At least play Marvel nerdy games, says Steve. Yeah. I get you, man. I get you. If Adam got receipt, Josh, as Slave Leia or bust. Well, maybe we'll put it into the calendar. In fact, I'll make a compromise.
Yeah.
I'll definitely do it, and I'll put it into the calendar if he can find the clip. I don't think he'll be able to. Challenge.
You're making a sexy calendar, Josh? What is happening?
So I said, I told everybody if we went over 1,000 members by the end of the year, I would make a 2022 sexy calendar. Yeah.
Now I'm trying to envision what I want. What I want in that calendar.
I know. Well, we're gonna probably have like voting.
January 2022. Dupe. Somehow make dupe. Dupe cosplay.
How would I do that?
Yeah.
Probably just like a Green Man thing and just take my legs and arms off or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Just like a green.
Just green me up. Just green me up.
Green oblong blob with like this like paint on your stomach. And you're just like.
Perfect.
Exactly what people want.
That unfortunately is exactly what people want. So it's gonna get weird, but we're gonna do it. You know who remembers, Josh? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Oh shit. I guess he's right. Josh is Poison Ivy or bust. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing all those things. I'm going to do some stuff I want on the calendar. Y'all are crazy. December better be the one. December, do something like that. God, dude, Square Enix
Poison Ivy, Josh. People just want to see that skin.
I know.
Yeah, just get the people what they want. They just want to see that skin.
I've been doing TikTok, right? And I've been doing the TikTok things, and everybody only loves and responds to the ones where I go like shirtless or like show the bod. So all the other TikToks where I try to be funny or try to make a point, everyone's like,
"Oh, hot take from Josh Lucas: sex sales."
Yes, but it's
hot takes.
But I'm more than a piece of meat. Everyone needs to treat me with more respect. This is not okay.
Second hot take from Josh: I'm not a piece of meat. Just hot takes.
Hot takes over and over again. That's what you get when you come to Darren's Danger Room. All the spice, all the hot takes. Ladies and gentlemen, are you prepared for this hot takeness? Okay, Biomutant. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Wait, are people hating on it in chat? Some people are saying there's some haters out there. I don't know. Ghost Rider with the $5 hollow says, if Moon Knight doesn't have an Apocalypse Easter egg, I'll be disappointed. Oscar Isaac plus Egypt plus mythology, the potential is too great. That's kind of interesting, but wouldn't you think they would kind of avoid that because of the Oscar Isaac thing? I don't know.
I know. There's just like Spider-Man meme it. He's like, wait a second, aren't you the? But I'm the. But it.
That would be kind of fun, actually. But I don't know. I don't think.
I don't know. It's not Deadpool. Like, it was really funny in Deadpool in the end credits scene, but I don't know if Moon Knight, the sad movie about the guy who might be schizophrenic, is going to be the place for that hilarious.
I know, right? By the way, this dude's having a total fucking mental breakdown, going through some real ass shit. Oh, and by the way, there's the other character that he played in that other franchise, and I don't know if that plays. I'm
curious to see if they'll like bring any of that up in the Eternals, though, with any like the ancient Egypt and all that jazz, because I mean they've been around since the dawn of time. I would think that they would start bringing in that like Khonshu Moon Knight stuff.
Yeah,
and like they were there. So
I mean, the Eternals should have no shortage of connective tissue to all kinds of different things. It would be a real waste if they didn't like plug it into a bunch of things. I mean, I know they're going to focus on that movie or whatever, but for real, if this movie's taken place over 7,000 years, I think inherently part of the draw is like we get to see 7,000 years of what was going on in the MCU, and like we want to know all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's a part of it. That's a part of it to me. Faux show. All right, we'll go over a couple other questions, guys, and then we're going to get on out of here. Let's see here. Zach is doing an interview with Colbert tonight. I did see that. We'll see if anything comes of it. Let's see here. I think Deadpool will be...
Zack Snyder's your boy.
I like that. Yeah. Zack Snyder's my boy. I'm going to text him later and be like, yo, sup, homie?
It's going to be like red.
He's going to be like, I need a new phone. I don't know who this person is, but I'm going to need a new phone. Emma Frost, Josh? Absolutely not. It's going to be a bunch of sexy lingerie poses with Josh's photoshopped on the heads. Lavis knows me too well. I would try to get away with something like that, but I know they would just riot in the streets. So
It's like
no,
cutting
I'm
a
in
picture off.
right. I'm in the freaking gym though. I'm getting in that gym. I'm getting calendar ready. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
y'all got to get
You
them
actually work
numbers.
out though.
That's true. Yeah.
So maybe you should be flexing on these pages.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what it is. It's funny. I did it almost as a joke, but then like the response it got was like, oh man, it is what it is. It works. You know.
Give the people what they want, Josh.
You're right. You're right. You're right. We could figure out a happy balance for it or whatever. But it's I don't know. It is what it is. I think it's a little tongue in cheek or whatever. But you know what I absolutely love about it? Someone sent me. Oh, it was Sheev. Sheev sent me some on TikTok and showed me. He was like, the thirst traps are real, and he showed Jack Black and all the crazy shit that Jack Black does. Now, Jack Black, you know, he's not a physical specimen per se, but he's definitely just in his underwear a lot, doing ridiculous ass shit on TikTok. And I think even though he's not totally like a sexual icon, it still brings in more like eyeballs and just more people are into it.
I mean,
more
he's
people
a
are
body
checking it out.
positive icon.
That's true.
Body positive icon.
That's very true. And he's also
That
freaking
meme going
hilarious.
around?
I like that guy.
That quote from what is it, School of Rock, where he's like, "Cause I like to eat."
He does.
And he's like, "Why don't you lose weight?" And he's like, "Cause I like to eat."
True. True. I love that movie, by the way.
I know that movie's so good.
It's super good. That's super good.
All right.
Let's see here. Young says, do you think
Thank
Andrew will
you.
come back for Spider-Man in the Spider-Man verse? Yeah, I absolutely do think so.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Any other last minute questions before we get on out of here? That person really wanted that ass. They were putting.
Like I said, Eternals will reshape and redefine the MCU. So
well, it certainly has.
maybe they
the
will
right
have their
setup.
hands in.
Yeah, it's got the right setup for it. Again, like with that sort of peripheral and then the 7,000 years. And I mean, they do technically have connections to celestials, ancient things going on, ramifications well past even what we already know. So, yeah, there's a lot of cool things that they could do. Let's see here. Jake says, you guys are both super dope. Much love. Yo, thank you so much. That's really sweet. Yeah, I think any other takes or anything else that you want to kind of get into, Darren, or you want to just call it?
I think that's it for tonight.
That is it for tonight,
That
Nerdvengers.
is it, guys.
Thank you guys for coming on in, hanging out with us, spending a little time just talking about that nerdy-ish. One more time, Darren, if you want to let them know about your channel and your Patreon and whatnot.
Yes, you can always find me just by my name, Darren Wood, DarynWood. Google me. It'll all come up. Instagram, Patreon, YouTube, all that jazz.
Get it done. Darren does some awesome videos. She does some awesome cosplays as well. And yeah, we love Darren over here. So go check her out. Go support her. And that's going to do it for us tonight here on Darren's Danger Room. And we're going to, by the way, we are totally working on cool graphical elements and awesome things that will just be unique to Darren and Darren's show. But as you guys all know, I've had a busy past couple of weeks, so I apologize about that. But we'll get that coming to you guys very, very soon.
We'll make it happen, guys. We'll make it happen. Don't worry about it.
Making it happen, 100%. And, you know, we're going to also convince Darren that Zack Snyder's a good director someday. We're going to get there as well together.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's not get crazy here. All right. I will take it one day at a time.
See, fam, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. We'll climb that mountain together.
Dare you.
All right,
Dare
everybody.
you put that blasphemy on my name.
Have a good night, everyone. Zack Snyder